so it's do or die now. You feel me? Like we gladiators. Like you got your sword. Sleeping on me, homie. He's sleeping on me. Oh, what you think? You have the IQ of Floyd Mayweather?
It's about to get really bloody. It's the fourth time Canelo Alvarez would be fighting a Puerto Rican, and this looks like the fiercest one ever.
I like to respect my opponents, but I like to respond when they talk.
And as they face off one more time, Edgar Berlanga doesn't look fazed or intimidated by the greatness and skill of his opponent.
And
his confidence is making his naysayers even condemn him more. But how do you defeat the legendary Canelo Alvarez without confidence?
I got my sword. It's the gladiator days, you feel me?
Edgar Berlanga stared down Canelo like he would do to a debuting.
This is our main event, September 14th. Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga.
The fact that Canelo Alvarez has almost 3 times his number of fights isn't a threat to him. Rather, he's turned all of his disadvantages into motivations.
I got my sword. It's the gladiator days, you feel me? 300.
This is where we fight!
We're gonna go to war. It's either you're gonna cut my neck off or I'm gonna cut your neck off.
But how many times have we seen fighters do this against Canelo Alvarez, only to get a loss in the long run? The fighters have such enmity that transcends both of them. That's how it is, you know what I'm saying? And that's a fact. Edgar Berlanga stands on behalf of over 3 million Puerto Ricans to see the end of a nation bigger and greater than them.
WBA, WBC, and WBO super middleweight worlds.
While over 127 million Mexicans are represented by the great Saul Canelo Alvarez.
This is not an exception. I'm gonna bring my best September 14th.
Berlanga vows, here's where some predictability lies. Just as the population of Mexico is far greater than Puerto Rico, so is the greatness of Canelo Alvarez to Edgar Berlanga.
You think you have the IQ? He said that, and I said, you're gonna see, but that's why I love it.
The halo around Edgar Berlanga's head is the fact that he holds the world record for the most fights with first-round knockouts, which he achieved in the first 16 fights of his career.
This is without a doubt. I know he's sleeping on me just by him saying that.
Sadly, that glory seems to be fading as he has just 1 knockout win in his last 6 fights. Where is his power gone, you may ask?
He's sleeping on me, homie. He's sleeping on me.
Berlanga repeats, but he's promised Canelo Alvarez the first knockout of his career in round 6. Edgar Berlanga looks bigger in size, but Canelo Alvarez is bigger in experience, intelligence, skill, technique, and everything. The Puerto Rican has even admitted that he hasn't really fought a good fighter throughout his career. Not even a great fighter of Canelo Alvarez's caliber. A step many deem too far for Berlanga.
And that's the best part. That's the best part. That's the best part.
In fact, many boxing professionals have trolled Canelo Alvarez and condemned why he chooses easier fighters like Jamie Munguia and Berlanga rather than more worthy contenders like David Morrell and David Benavidez. Cool, it's cool, 'cause I'm going to embrace all of that, Berlanga says. Well, for some reason, Berlanga has his time, and he doesn't look like he'll misuse the opportunity. But Canelo Alvarez isn't seeing Berlanga as any more than Jamie Munguia, the young Mexican he defeated by unanimous decision in May.
I'm gonna embrace all of that. He gonna respect my game now.
But this time, Canelo has even promised Berlanga a knockout. As Alvarez stood in front of all the cameras, looking sideways at Berlanga, he said, "You're going to feel so much pain. You hit like my son, so take it easy. You're getting the beating of a lifetime soon." The two would stand and trade words, held back by security, and the champion specified his intent not to lay hands on Berlanga. "Why?" Alvarez said, "I don't want to mess you up right now because your money is gone. So take it easy."
This level is intelligence and IQ, and we're not gonna end up like that.
But Berlanga reiterated his determination and resolve to take the throne. In return, the chosen one announced, "I'm going to take your place. This fight is a good fight for the people." Canelo responded when asked why it wouldn't be Benavidez or Crawford in the opposite corner on September 14th. Mexico versus Puerto Rico is always a good fight.
Young fighter, and I'm gonna put all my best in the training, all my best in the fight.
I know Edgar Berlanga. He's shown he's strong. But at the end of the day, he has a big challenge in front of him. It's going to be a great fight. He's going to show something different, and the people are going to enjoy this fight. To put it simply,
Put it a great fight, and
I don't expect anything else. He's going to bring everything, and me too. I'm going to enjoy it a lot. It means a lot because the rivalry is history. We have great fights. Mexico versus Puerto Rico, and I think this is going to be another one. That's why we have this fight, right? I'm going to put my best as always. It's going to be a really good night for boxing. I guarantee that. This altercation mirrored what Alvarez had told PPV.com.
I'm just happy. I love boxing. I love what I do, and I'm happy to be here. And
The Guadalajara native carried more motivation, zeal, and passion during the presser as he had told PPV.com. Mexico versus Puerto Rico motivates me even more. It seems he is not the only one. When the two took their seats and answered the fans' questions,
I got knocked out. Kayla.
Berlanga assured the fans and reporters that he was up for the task. Berlanga, the Brooklyn native, pointed out that Alvarez had fought everybody, including the big name. The super middleweight champions list of legendary opponents included Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Gennady Golovkin.
All right, let's turn things back over.
Stop the cap, no?
Berlanga theorized that their bout would be different, adding, "What makes it different about this fight is not about physical. It's about IQ and intelligence, and that's what's going to make the difference on September 14th. Take it easy. I'm going to take care of him for you."
take it easy. I'm gonna take care of him for you.
Does Berlanga have the skills and ring IQ to outweed Alvarez? No one is sure. After weighing in their resumes,
I promise you.
Carlo,
That's for you.
the fans will find out whether this will be the case soon. Cotto's rivalry with Antonio Margarito is the most memorable between a Mexican and a Puerto Rican in the modern era. But for all that, the 27-year-old Berlanga has proved entertaining. He is a considerably less proven fighter.
Anybody who says it shouldn't be you September 14th. Those are haters, man. You know, like I said, those are haters, man. And all those people out there.
Which was something Alvarez did little to contest. What do you say to anybody who says it shouldn't be you on September 14th? Berlanga answers, "Yeah, those are haters, man. You know, like I said, those are haters, man, and all those people out there."
They're gonna still buy the pay-per-view. They still gonna talk. You know, Floyd became Floyd. Why? Because he has so much people that hate him.
Berlanga, having gone the distance in 5 straight fights, stopped Irishman Padraig McCrory in Orlando in February. The 27-year-old said he'd been dreaming of a fight like this and that he manifested getting the Canelo bout.
They're gonna still buy the pay-per-view. They still gonna talk. You know, Floyd became Floyd. Why? Because he has so much people that hate him.
A lot of people are talking, saying I'm fighting cab drivers. Now I'm fighting a legend. They say I'm going to get knocked out. You never win, Berlanga added. So I just put my head down, keep working, stay humble, and just turn up.
Sure, 100%. He's a clown, so you gotta let him think.
There's a lot of doubt out there and a lot of hate, Berlanga said. But I've been facing adversity. I've been facing hate all my life. This is my opportunity to become a great champion, but also be legendary in the sport of boxing. It's going to be something amazing. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. That's the biggest rivalry in boxing. To anybody who says it shouldn't be him on September 14th, Berlanga responds, "I've always been overlooked. Even if I had a world title, I would be overlooked. When I first turned pro, no promoter wanted to sign me, and I had to dig my feet deep in the ground and work and knock people out. And I started knocking people out in the first round, and that's when people started wanting to sign me.
Here, listen, man, I don't want to hear Benavidez, you know, shout out to Crawford.
Berlanga's resolve has been stiffened by the critics, and he knows he's not the popular choice. That would have been David Benavidez, who, frustrated by his inability to land a fight with the February 2nd, 6 feet 1 inch Mexican superstar Canelo, has moved north to 175 pounds. I don't want to hear Benavidez. Sir. Benavidez, Berlanga continued. Shout out to Terence Crawford. They keep mentioning Crawford for Canelo. He fought a 54-pounder Israel Madrimov. It was a tough fight. We've got business to handle September 14th. A lot of people keep mentioning Benavidez and all these guys. You'll know it's not going to happen. That's just that. September 14th, I've got Canelo, Puerto Rico against Mexico.
But they keep mentioning Crawford. He fought a 54-pounder. You know, it was a tough fight. You know, we got business to handle September 14th. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just keep mentioning Benavidez.
Promoter Eddie Hearn signed Berlanga 13 months ago and promised he would deliver him Canelo. The Mexican's recent marriage to PBC, which now spans 3 consecutive contests, made that less likely. But the opposing teams managed to get the deal done. And all these guys, man, like, you know it's not going to happen, you feel me? And that's just that, man. Hearn called the Canelo fight the lottery ticket of boxing.
The Canelo Alvarez fight week, time we come as the opponent. Many opponents we've had have faced him in the past: Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, John Ryder, Rocky Fielding.
This is about paying in the ticket, and Edgar Berlanga is here only to win, said Hearn. The Canelo Alvarez fight weeks, and this time we come as the opponent. Many opponents we've had have faced him in the past: Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, John Ryder, Rocky Fielding. This kid has a big set of and will put everything on the line on September 14th. I know Canelo Alvarez wants real fights, guys that will come to him to win. This guy won't dance around the ring. He won't try to survive for 12 rounds. He will come for a firefight with Canelo Alvarez. And yes, it is Puerto Rico versus Mexico, but it's deeper than that. This is the opportunity of a lifetime for Edgar and his father. He's dedicated his life to the sport, and I promise you he will give every inch of his soul in Las Vegas. This guy is here to dethrone the king, Berlanga's influential manager Keith Connolly added.
Shot at the great Canelo Alvarez. As things moved on, that shot looked as though it would become more difficult. And as always, it's the lottery ticket of boxing to land.
Edgar's got bombs in his hands, and I expect him to shock the world on September 14th. Edgar Berlanga had a snappy response to anyone questioning why he got the assignment to face Canelo Alvarez on September 14th, and the more decorated David Benavidez and the undefeated powerhouse David Morrell did not. Benavidez doesn't sell. Morrell doesn't sell. They don't have that superstar status that I have, Berlanga told Boxing Scene in his dressing room on Monday, just minutes before the start of his press conference in Midtown Manhattan with Canelo.
People going, you know, I go on social media now and I see a couple of things that fuse me, you know what I'm saying? Because
they don't have that power. I have a country behind me, I have Puerto Rico behind me, and I've got the hip-hop culture behind me. I know that's why Canelo picked me, because we're going to sell, but we're also going to fight, and it's going to be a good fight. Canelo will defend his 3 super middleweight titles against Berlanga next month at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas atop a PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video Card on Mexican Independence Day weekend. Berlanga, 27, was in attendance on May 4th when Canelo dropped and decided a game against Jamie Munguia in Las Vegas. That was Canelo's 4th straight win that went the distance, causing some to wonder if Canelo may have lost a step. Berlanga doesn't think that's the case. I don't see any decline in Canelo, Berlanga told Boxing Scene. Canelo was Canelo.
first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this opportunity.
Munguia is a guy who throws a lot of punches and doesn't really use his IQ. If he had used his IQ a lot more, the outcome would have probably been different. I think Canelo will be in the best shape and in the best form for this fight. and it's going to be fireworks that weekend. Berlanga, the WBA's #1 ranked mandatory contender, he's still an unfinished product who hasn't scraped the ceiling of his potential. What's dangerous about me is that I'm not the same fighter that I was for my last fight, he said. I'm still a mystery to Canelo. Every fight, I'm getting better and better. These guys at that level, they plateau, they stay stagnant. Me, I'm 27 years old, but I'm still a sponge in the gym, and I'm still growing, and I'm still not at my full potential. I'm going to give everything I've got and make history on September 14th.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And thank you all, Jaimon. Thank you, Luis.
While Canelo Alvarez has insisted that he and Edgar Berlanga would make a good fight for the fans, they have a common enemy who believes the fight would flop. But even more than that, he's claimed the fight between the pair says nothing about the Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry, as Edgar Berlanga is hardly a Puerto Rican. In his Clapback Thursday series, Oscar de la Hoya fired at both Canelo Alvarez and Berlanga. Starting with Berlanga. He said, Edgar Berlanga, he claims he has the whole country of Puerto Rico behind him. Edgar, bro, you are from Brooklyn. I think I am more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years, Oscar said in the latest edition of his Clapback Thursdays. The head of Golden Boy explained that it's not just because Canelo has picked a rather unknown opponent for himself, but also because of UFC 306, which is set on the same night just down the street from the MGM Grand. They are going up against the UFC's debut at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now that's a spectacle that everyone and their mother have been waiting to see, Oscar added. It's hard to determine whether Oscar's hypothesis will come true or not. Berlanga later insulted De La Hoya for coming at him despite chasing after him crazily last year. Berlanga claimed, "Bag of coke for you, idiot." As for De La Hoya, Berlanga was more keen on making him appear bad after firing shots at him unprovoked. As De La Hoya had earlier wooed him into a Mexico versus Puerto Rico clash against Jamie Munguia, and now he's going against himself, claiming the same fighter he wanted in a Mexico versus Puerto Rico fight that he's no longer a Puerto Rican. Well, Berlanga has little time for him as he's focused on Canelo and Canelo alone. In an interview with ESPN, the World Boxing Association's mandatory challenger to Canelo Alvarez had assured that he is ready to surprise and even anticipated that he will knock out the Mexican in only 6 rounds, something that seemed unlikely against an opponent who has never touched the canvas in his entire professional career.